Hello, great learners. How are you? Mr. Newlove is here again. Today we are continuing with what we're doing on differentiation from the first principle. Before I continue, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay. Now, let's move back to what we were doing on the other video. The last thing we looked at was this one. F of x is equals to 2x to the power 3. And we managed to get 6x squared. Yeah, I did explain this one in the other video. So if you've not watched it, watch the first two. Yeah, this is series 4. I've already done 3 videos. The next one that we are going to do from there is this one. We are still finding the derivative. Another term we use is differentiation. So we want to find the derivative from the first principle. This word must come before you can use this method. There's another one I will show you when we are done with from the first principle. That one is just derivative. So here, from the first, if you are told to find a derivative from the first principle or differentiate this from the first principle, this is how you should solve. Now, this formula will be given to us in the formula sheet, so there's no need for you to worry about it. It will be given to us. If you know it, it's fine. Okay, so if you check this formula, you have f x plus h. So first we need to find that one. So you write your f x plus h, which is this one. How did we get it? From the original function, f of x is equals to 1 over x. What does it mean? It means f of the domain. The domain is the input. The first value when we're in grade 10. The first value is the what? The domain, the input, whatever you put in. And this is the output, what comes out. So when we put x into the machine, we got 1 over the x that we placed in the machine. So this time, this is our machine. We are supposed to put x plus h into the machine. Remember, when you put x into the machine, you got 1 over x. Now you place x plus h into the machine. What are you going to get? 1 over x plus h. In other words, f of the domain is equals to 1 over the domain. The same applies to this. So this f of x is the machine. You put x plus h into it, you get 1 over x plus h. If you put x into a machine, you get 1 over x. What is the meaning of the machine here? The machine is telling us that whatever you put into the machine, you should get 1 over it. Alright. So here we've gotten our values for these two functions. Then what we need to do is to substitute into the function. So here our function is this one, x plus h. What is x plus h? F of x plus h is 1 over x plus h. So in place of this machine, you substitute this, because this is what comes out from the machine. Alright, then minus f of x. What is our f of x? F of x was given at the top here. So this is our f of x. So minus our f of x, which is 1 over x. Let's go back to the formula. Divided by, so this is the divided by. Divided by what? H. So this is the h. Now, the numerator, we have written it this way, 1 over x plus h minus 1 over x. This division, we can write it this way. Divided by what? H. So h is the same as h over 1. Okay. Then the next thing we are going to do is we are going to simplify. So to simplify this one, our division sign is this. The simple way of doing that is you multiply the numerators. So x times, brackets means times x plus h. Now if you multiply the numerators, what you need to do is cross multiply. So x times 1, which will give you x here, minus x plus h times 1. It will give you x plus h. Because 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4. So x plus h times 1 is what? X plus h. Okay, when you are done, let's move on to the next. So from here, what are we going to get now? I've written this one again. We've already had this one in the previous slide. So I've written it again to guide us. So here we have our x, which is this, minus x, which is this. Remember, this minus is affecting everything in the bracket. So it's minus times plus is going to give us what? Minus h. All over, we have our x plus h, times 1 over h. Okay, so from here, what are we going to have? X minus x go away to be 0. Then we are going to have minus h plus 1 will give us minus h times, I've written this denominator again, so it will still multiply the what? The h. Okay, then this minus h and this minus h is going to cancel out. So it's going to remain with, remember, there's 1 in front here, so it's negative 1. So it's going to be negative 1 times 1 give us negative 1. Alright, all over x to bracket x plus h. Okay, let's go back. So here, if we substitute this h into it, remember we've already done the limits, yeah? So we find the limit of this as h approaches 0. So as h approaches 0, what are we going to have? We are going to have, remember this is negative, so there should be negative here. Let me place negative there. So we have negative, then we have our x, then x for this one, this x is for this, and this x is for this, plus h is what? 0, because limit as h approaches 0. So we have h is equal to 0, so it's going to remain with minus 1, so there should be minus here. Yeah, we got a minus. Okay, so here, what are we going to have? We have a minus 1, which is this, then x times x. This bracket means times. So x times x is going to give us x squared. So the answer for that, if you find the derivative of 1 over x from the first principle, you are going to get this using, you must go through all these steps. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, we are looking at differentiation notation.